It's the rocket ship of its time. It's NASA. It's the highest level of technology for travel that exists.
I thought long voyages really enabled you to feel something of the age of exploration, and at the same time to have the excitement of being on a British man of war and going into action.
If you wanted to get to the far side of the world, this was the only way you could do it. They call him Lucky Jack.
Lucky Jack!
At this point in history, the Navy basically shared the prize money with the men. So if you go on a successful voyage with Jack, you're liable to come back with 15 or 20 times your annual salary waiting for you.
Captain's not called Lucky Jack for no reason. Phantom or no, Lucky Jack will have it.
He might not do it the way you want him to do it, but his results at the end of the day will be far more than you intended.
Scratch a stay. May the Lord of Saints preserve!
Starboard bow ahoy!
He's in the pursuit of a French privateer called Acheron. There was a kind of raider that has been attacking British merchant vessels.
2 points off the starboard bow, sir.
You sure, Mr. Holland?
It was only for a moment. I thought I saw a shape.
Certain things happen during the course of our tale that shake an otherwise unshakable man.
All hands down!
What we discovered very swiftly is, in fact, they found us first. And even worse than that, they're twice the size of us.
It's the way in which he's attacked and the thoroughness with which he is put into his place.
With basic repairs, we can get home as we are.
We're not going home. We can refit at sea.
Catching the Acheron is actually turning into an obsession.
She's a vastly heavier ship. She's out of our class. She could be halfway to Cape Horn by the time we repaired and underway.
Well then, there's not a moment to lose.
Which is to the detriment of his crew.
Lord Blakeney.
Just a broken arm, sir.
You're in very good hands.
There were midshipmen as young as 12. They were treated really the same as anybody else. They had to take the injuries, they had to go into battle.
He's the first midshipman and he just arrived, he's about 13. And on his first voyage he meets action straight away.
I've never seen a braver patient.
Stephen Maturin is a doctor and he's Jack's best friend.
7 weeks sailing, and he happened on our exact position.
Well, then perhaps he was looking for us.
Jack knows all about seafaring and I know all about the world and politics.
Stephen's kind of like the balance. Jack has relief from the pressures of command only through Stephen.
As a friend, perhaps we should have turned back weeks ago. And chasing this larger, faster ship is beginning to smack of pride.
But at the same time, speaking his mind can only be done in the captain's cabin with the door closed.
I profoundly respect your right to disagree with me here in this cabin, but I can only afford one rebel on this ship.
You there! Stand fast! Take that man below and clap him in irons.
Men must be governed.
You get this terrific tension between the modern man, Maturin, and the more direct warrior in Jack.
Right, lads. Our enemy has
More than twice our guns, more than twice our numbers. We are supposed to stop them.
fire!
You know, we need to get this ship, because not only is it, you know, destroying our British ships, but it's done a kind of personal sort of attack at Jack.
This is the second time he's done this to me. There will not be a third.
So he goes after this ship with all guns blazing, as it were.
For home! And for the prize!
He believes in his men, he believes in the soundness of his ship, and he believes he can take that ship.
And though we be on the far side of the world, this ship is our home.
Steady!
Not always right, but always certain.
This ship is England.
It's definitely a demanding film. We've got two ships, that's all. Two ships on water, chasing each other. It should be simple. It just isn't. We've got the ocean, and we've got a vessel moving through it, mostly out of sight of land. Either the water moves or the vessel moves. How do you create the feeling of motion?
There were certain shots that were conducive to shooting at sea, that you could do at sea, and that you should do at sea.
I went to a couple of boating festivals and saw a frigate, the only one in the world that is a recreated vessel, called the Rose, and it's for sale. So when I ended up in LA, I said, I've seen a ship and I think we should buy it. And to my astonishment, the studio put a holding deposit on the Rose.
Getting on board the Rose and heading out of Ensenada Harbour for the first time and feeling the thrum of the diesel generator turned off. And the difference in the way the boat moves when it's only under wind power, that was something special.
The days on the Rose for me were the best days we did of filming, especially the days when the camera would be on a camera barge and it wouldn't be on the ship. None of the crew would be on the ship, and we would simply have actors in costume standing on this ship, and it was extraordinary. It was an incredible feeling.
Other things where you just cannot get them at sea, or they're very time-consuming at sea, and then we shot them on the tank.
We built one ship and we put it on a gimbal in a tank.
Gimbal is a word that I've now discovered. Apparently, this thing that makes the ship go like this.
And the gimbal was built down in the deep pit, and then once we had the ship built, we cut it into 3 pieces, and then we swung it across by crane, welded it back together, and put it as you see it now.
We have 3 axes of motion with this gimbal system. The boat has a pitch axis, which we can raise and lower the bow. We have a roll axis, which we can roll to port or starboard. And then it's built on a 40-foot tower, and at the base of this has 4 hydraulic cylinders, and we can raise the boat and lower it 8 feet. So we can put all these together and make the boat, look like it's in whatever kind of ocean you want to make.
Well, when I saw it first, it was bare bones. I saw it when they only had its rib cage poking out of the hole. So I saw the progression of it, and that's what the incredible job that they did.
It was incredible because we drove up and we saw it from a distance, and we saw these sails, and what's that?
You just stop and go, wow, that's our shit. That's our home for the next however many months.
I was completely mind-boggled the first time I saw this ship. It was more detailed, more specific, more real than I ever dreamt possible, given that they've built it entirely from scratch.
The attention to detail we've done on the Rose and carried it over just as well on the tank ship. It's very hard to distinguish the difference between the 2 vessels.
I think to tell the differences, they'd have to lay a ruler on the decks in places. These ships are twins.
It was a 100% replica of the Surprise, just minus some of the topsails. The reason for not having the topsails, it was too heavy, too much for the gimbal to hold, so we added sails in post.
We extended them, taking sometimes top-mast material from the real ship that was shot, and then also some from the miniature, and compositing those into those shots from the tank boat that were missing.
People have often said to me, well, what on earth do you do after the miniatures work in Lord of the Rings? Well, this is what you do.
So we use work in miniatures. Great old traditional special effects combined with the most sophisticated developments in CGI.
It's always a challenge in trying to make this as real as we can to fool the audience and to make it think that there are no effect shots.
In the end, it always comes down, and Peter says, it's really what is the shot supposed to tell you in the story, in the course of the action, to make it clear what is going on.
At the beginning of the film, we start somewhere off the north coast of Brazil. We work our way down south around Cape Horn, which is one of the more dangerous things you can do on a ship.
The Endeavour, that wonderful, beautifully, accurately recreated vessel of Captain Cook's, just as we were about starting pre-production, was going around the Horn on a historical journey. So we got a cameraman and camera on board to shoot their passage around the Horn and to film the ocean in that part of the world.
We took the elements from the Endeavour, we built a storm with a lot of depth.
Having the benefit of having real photography of such a stormy sea and using those elements really brought a great sense of reality to that sequence.
So, curiously, the water we use within this film will be actually the water from the Horn. I rather like that detail. The life was incredibly hard. It was just the way it was. I thought to re-invoke this category of film, this genre, I wanted all of the actors to live with their characters. The training period was really to do with weaponry, and it was a crash course in the period.
It was kind of 2 weeks of a real short, sharp shock treatment.
They went out on the practical vessel on the Rose and learned how she sailed.
Hey, good job! We learned Navy speak.
And to set the foretopmast staysail.
We learned how to fence.
Jolly boat rowing.
Everyone concentrate on feathering your oar.
How to load cannons.
There's a lot to learn, there's a hell of a lot to learn.
The research that we'd been given, that we'd done, is one thing. But to actually experience firing a cannon, to actually experience sailing one of these ships, there is no substitute for that. Fire!
From the time that Russell got here, he really spent 3 weeks of intense training to do everything he possibly could to prepare himself to be Captain Jack Aubrey.
I came down here about 3 weeks before any of the other cast arrived, just to do my final preparation. Basically, everything that they were about to learn, I went and learnt. So if anybody came up and asked me a question, I would have some form of an answer.
He was born to be a captain of the ship. He has a natural authority. He took command of that ship, you know, from the beginning.
It's leadership they want. Strength. Now you find that within yourself, and you will earn their respect.
Russell gave us all a little package, which we unravelled and found that we had jumpers, not all the same colour.
Every man that arrived received 3 shirts. Officers were in navy blue, midshipmen in light blue, Marines in red, and the ship's company in white.
Russell was very clear about his idea that we should be aware of the ranks before we actually started.
Stand by the halyards!
It made them feel like a group of sailors.
Starting with Russell, who wanted such a huge depth of knowledge, but right down through some of the extras, they really wanted to look good. They really wanted to know what they were doing.
All away on your capstan!
I could happily crew 2 or 3 roses at the end of this film and go sailing with these people.
Haven't lost anything, baby?
Yeah.
What Peter has pushed from the beginning is for us to stay as a unit and as a crew.
There are a lot of actors on the job, and you have to bond to make the film work.
So we came up with the idea of a monkey bar.
Rather than hanging out in trailers or dressing rooms, the actors might have a communal space where they'd get together and enjoy themselves.
Got a pool table and computers and a coffee bar in there and everything. It's like luxury, you know?
We do have a lot of downtime, so it's just nice to have somewhere cool to hang out.
That's practice when I'm an unemployed actor working in Starbucks.
Even actors, some of them who would get one line of dialogue from the background would say, does this mean I can get into the monkey bar now? If you really put the reality of a sea fight, when they talk of blood running out of the scuppers being the little holes where when they wash the decks, the water falls out to the sea, and they'd say the scuppers ran red with blood, they literally meant it. It wasn't a poetic term.
Because if you think of life on a ship, with another ship doing battle, there's no chance of retreat like on a battlefield. I mean, you know, there's nowhere to go unless you jumped overboard.
We might have 100 extras in some of these biggest scenes we have on the weather deck at the same time. Well, when you see that scene and you see 100 extras, it's going to be hard to remember that there are also 60, 70 film crew members on the weather deck as well. People are everywhere. People are crowded and crouching in corners and hiding behind masks.
Keep moving until you find it.
Just trying to get it real.
The rugby was put in place because I knew a certain percentage of guys would find the battle sequences difficult. So I just created an opportunity for kind of an intense aerobic training. This weekend is quite interesting though. The French sailors from the Acheron have challenged the Surprise to a game, and I hear that there's some very experienced players on the French team. But I think my ragtag bunch might have the edge.
Science was the area Maturin, his interest lies. And as you know, of course, in this case, we go to the Galapagos Islands.
They're said to be full of strange and wonderful beasts. When we get there, we'll have to stop for food and water. I promise you, during that time, you can wander at will, collecting bugs and beetles to your heart's content.
The Galapagos Islands feature in the film because they're the holy grail of my character, Stephen Maturin, who's a naturalist. He's dreamt about coming to this place for years.
Oh, look, there's one going for a swim.
Iguanas don't swim, they're land animals.
These ones do.
Oh, I love that side of Maturin, his sort of giving us a glimpse of the world bursting with developments in science and natural history.
Obviously, the wildlife is pretty spectacular because it's secluded. Like, you get iguanas, seals.
Galapagos has many film groups coming to visit, but never a major production like we've got here. This is a first for Galapagos.
All the islands that we photographed are uninhabited, and basically everything had to be backpacked into all of our locations.
We've rented a large ship where we base everything on, and every morning we take the material off that ship, we put them on small boats, we move them to the islands, we pick them off the boats, and we start our rather long trek on or about the islands to film.
We're just very lucky that we had the opportunity to come down here and get all this stuff live.
It's a really precious place. I'm not aware of any action movie that in the middle of it has two people playing the cello and the violin.
It took a lot of work. It's like anything that you want to do, isn't it? It's just hours. You know, you commit to the hours to it, and you commit your focus to it.
We have this videotape of people sort of far more skilled than us who make it look terribly easy, and at first glance you kind of go, oh, nothing, it's going to be easy.
Just leave those out and just... Almost like an afterthought.
While you're spending your weekend having fun, kids, I'll be inside trying to learn the violin. The violinist that I'm trying to copy, Richard Tognetti, who's an old friend of mine. Richard is a massive violinist.
Russell actually went to the trouble, I mean painstaking trouble, of practicing his violin every day.
2, 3.
which was quite a feat on set when he's learning battle maneuvers and learning his lines. Both of them did a fantastic job.
Oh,
Back to war.
Yeah, and now, back to the battle.
Peter was a big fan of the O'Brien books, so he knew all the characters very, very well.
I loved the series, read them all. O'Brien elevated this writing to the very best. And I think that's been the great challenge, is to provide a kind of way of telling this story visually that would equal his prose, or at least do it justice.
Parker, start the drums early even. Get the blood flowing.
Background, playback.
I'd grown up with Peter's movies all my life and always had coveted working with him. He was a director who'd been responsible for things like The Last Wave, Picnic at Hanging Rock, Gallipoli, Witness, and I couldn't quite let that go.
Nasty stuff.
Truman Show, Dead Poets Society, every film I've done with him, he's incredible.
It took me 2 seconds to decide. I was on the phone day and night going, has he said yes yet? Make him say yes.
I said I would do it before I even seen the script, you know, because it's a chance to work with Peter Weir. He's never made a bad movie, basically, as far as I'm concerned.
Every day he turns up on set and he's just got so much passion and so much enthusiasm.
You know, I wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for Peter.
If we can close this gap and get up behind her, she may well be ours.
Russell brings a real sort of emotional weight to Jack.
It's a part of leadership where, by his very character, he has to sort of stand there and everyone sort of understands him to be the captain and they're willing to follow him really, you know, right into the jaws of death.
I think Russell is dream casting for Jack Aubrey. He has a danger quality. You never quite know what's going to happen next.
The movie star's a very rare creature, and even rarer if they're also a good actor.
Take that man below and clap him in irons.
It's as much as you can ask for. I was thrilled to have an actor of his abilities.
Anybody who goes to see this film, in the first 5 minutes we get attacked by another ship. Then you're kind of certain that we're going to chase this ship and try and get it back. And everybody will want to see that final battle play out.
Back ahead, Ted!
Good luck, Will. Good luck, Peter.
Yes, you get action, but you get to live on board that ship as an audience. It's a world they've not seen before.
It doesn't matter that it takes extra effort. It doesn't matter that it takes longer. Because you can live with it for longer then. You've given it your best.
It will make a difference to the viewing of the film. The feeling that this is as close as you can to the impossible but exciting idea of traveling back to the past. I want you to sort of, when you come out of the film, have had a glimpse through a chink, through a crack, back 200 years to life on board a ship like that. Just a glimpse. And then the door closes.